Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to speak this evening. I've been contacted by and met with hundreds of concerned constituents, many of whom are trapped in unsafe leasehold properties. I have also met with CLADAG, a group set up to ensure the voices of disabled leaseholders are heard, and I hope the Minister will also meet with them. Many of those I have spoken to bought their first homes through government schemes they believed would help rather than hinder them. They now wish to move on, but are instead facing bankruptcy due to astronomical bills. Understandably, they want to know why those who should be taking responsibility are not doing so. Take, for example, Berkeley Homes and its subsidiary, St James. Unlike other developers and housing providers in the constituency, the CEO of Berkeley Homes has refused 3 times to attend public meetings I have organised or to answer leaseholders' reasonable questions about remediation costs. The company remains in dispute with the owners of Aragon Tower in Deptford and whether the fire breaks in the building are faulty. Meanwhile, over 160 residents are fearful of what might happen while they are asleep. The stress of paying for remedial works is particularly acute for leaseholders in shared ownership blocks, including Norfolk House in Deptford. Residents do not qualify for the government's new cladding grants as their building is under 18 metres. They are therefore faced with having to pay back costs at £50 per month. The estimated total for removing the cladding is £3 million, meaning that residents would have this debt hanging over their heads for many years to come. On top of this, they are facing additional fire safety charges, including for a waking watch. The cost of this, to be billed from September, is a staggering £74,000 per month. Many constituents are also finding that banks will not lend on properties without external wall survey certificates, despite government advice that the document is not a legal requirement. Just as the country faces another financial crisis, leaseholders will be forced into higher mortgage rates for homes which in many cases are no longer suited for their needs. The FCA merely suggests using mortgage intermediaries. Ministers promised on at least 15 occasions that cladding costs would not be passed on to leaseholders, yet for years they have failed to deliver. Tonight I'm calling on the government to support those amendments which would absolve leaseholders of bearing the cost of a crisis which is not of their making.